Hello, YouTube fans and Facebook fans. Here we are with another episode of Table Talk with Roland. As you know, what we do here is we talk to people that are doing ordinary thing, but we call it extraordinary thing when it comes to health and fitness, and some stories that you need to hear. So, without further ado, we're going to go right into it. Today, my guest, again, you see I have two people here. I have Ashley and his lovely wife, Victoria Coronado. Correct? All right, I got that right. And we're just going to talk about some things that they have gone through as husband and wife and the journey and what all it has entailed. And some of you out there are going to be very, very familiar with what they're talking about because some of you have gone through it. Some of you are going through it right now. And that's this thing called weight loss and all of that stuff. But in the midst of this pandemic and all of this, it just goes to show you that you can do what you want to do. You just got to have a creative mind and do what we're doing. And we have a special treat for you. We'll tell you what Ashley doing a little bit further in the segment. But I'm going to lay this thing out. Ashley has actually lost over 120 pounds. 120 pounds. Now, it hasn't been a short span. But actuality, it has been. It's been since 2019. But he's going to tell you his story. And Victoria has been right here, right along beside him with that, taking that ride. Because too often you guys hear about the glory part, the male part, but you don't hear about the person that makes it happen behind the scene. And so she's going to get a chance to tell us the good, the bad, the ugly along with this. Plus she's taking that journey too. So without further ado, we're going to get going. Ashley, welcome.
Thank
Victoria,
you.
welcome. I thank you guys so much for taking time out to we're going to sit here and we're going to talk.
Sweet.
So Ashley, tell me about this journey that you've taken. You've lost over 120 pounds.
Yes, 120 pounds since May. So
wow. May of 2019.
May of 2019, yes, sir.
Wow.
So whenever I started, I was 265 pounds. It probably was a little over, probably a little under, but it's around that 120 mark.
Yes.
And whenever I started out doing keto. I don't recommend doing keto, but whatever fits you, it fits you. I was doing that. I just woke up one day and I hated the way I looked, hated the way I felt. I was always hurting. Even standing was just a problem. Like I would just be out of breath standing. And I just decided, hey, we got to get a treadmill. I told my wife, hey, we got to get a treadmill. She's like, oh, we don't have the money, It's like, I'm tired. I told her, I said, I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of looking this way. So she could see that I was into like wanting to lose weight. She's like, okay, we'll get it. We got a treadmill. It was a piece of crap, but it worked out great.
Yes.
But it worked enough for me to start walking. And I walked so much. I wasn't even used to walking. I was used to be very sedentary. I didn't have a job. I played video games all the time. So I didn't really use my legs often. Just from like where I was sitting to the bathroom that was at. And so then I ended up walking like an hour a day. I was like, oh, cardio, eating less is how you lose weight, right? So I ended up doing that, and I was so in pain like doing cardio. I didn't realize how bad it was until I did it. And looking back at it, it was just 2 miles an hour.
Wow. And
I was in that much pain for 2 miles an hour. So like that was very difficult. Then fast forward a little bit.
Go ahead.
Fast forward a little bit. I'm getting used to the cardio. And, I've been doing keto, lost like my first 50 pounds of keto. Then I stopped doing keto because I was hungry and I hated everything I ate. Everything I ate was very bland in taste, even though if I looked up things that were online, how to cook like, like shrimp scampi or something like that, I didn't like it. It was too much cream cheese for me. So then I started fasting, which I still don't recommend because whenever you do fasting, there's a hunger hormone called ghrelin that will be smacking you in the face, telling you to eat, every chance you can. So I was that kind of guy, being a former person who used to be big. I would love to eat, and I still do. I love to eat. I'm a huge eater. And so then, fast forward even further, I go to the gym. And I'm still doing the fasting thing because I thought it was like the savior of all diets. And I go to the gym for the first time, lift weights. I was so weak compared to what I am now. I did not know how to do anything. I would look at the things that told you how to do the exercise, like, oh, this can't be right. And then in reality was telling me how to do the exercise. I just didn't know how to do it. So then after that, I stopped fasting because I was hungry. So then I ended up finding low-calorie dense foods. And foods that I could fill myself up, eat a lot of, and still lose weight while still exercising. And then when I did that, I finally lost the rest of my weight. I lost my first 50 pounds from fasting and keto. And then I did low-calorie dense foods and lost the rest of it.
Now, he's about to say something about his go-to food. He and I, we talked about this.
Yep.
So, all right, now remember, this is what Ashley did to work for Ashley, okay? Doesn't mean necessarily it's going to work for you all the time, but he got tired of it. He got tired of being that person, and he did something about it. That's the main thing I want you guys to hear what he said. So tell me about this. This food of yours.
So the main food that people know me as, the cantaloupe guy or the melon guy. The food that I ate the most was melon. I ate 6 pounds of melon a day. It doesn't work for everyone. Everyone can't be like, oh, I just can eat a bunch of melon and be fine. No, that was just something that worked for me because I just liked fruit. And then I made my own homemade protein bar. So I was a big sweets guy.
Gotcha.
So I ate a lot of sugars and a lot of stuff that was sweet to me. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean sugars are what you should be eating, but I guess I ate enough like low calories to where when I was big, I lost enough weight. Then should we tell them about what
we're gonna come?
Okay.
Well, yes. Tell me about it. You talking about? Well, before you get to that, here's the surprise that we was gonna wait till later on. Ashley has lost all this weight to the point to where you see these trophies out here. These are the overall awards for the NPC Tri-City Classic, which is happening on the 3rd of April. And Ashley has done so well with what he's doing. He's actually going to be a competitor at this show. So imagine that, going from sedentary 2019, 200 and what pounds?
265 pounds.
265 pounds. And how much do you weigh now?
144.
144, which means he's going to be on stage bodybuilding in the bantamweight category because it goes up to 143. Plus, he's going to be in the classic physique category as well. So if you're not busy, and even if you are busy, put a pause on it. On the 3rd of April, come on out to the Convention and Trade Center at 5 p.m. and watch Ashley do his thing. But now we're going to get back to Ashley so we can get to Victoria as well because she got a story for you as well. But go ahead. What made you decide to do this?
So I losing the weight or the bodybuilding. One day, I was thinking, I was looking at my progress and I lost like 70 pounds. Like, I'm starting to look good. I'm starting to feel good about myself, right? And I was looking in the mirror, man, I'm looking like my old self again, right? And then I was like, I want to do bodybuilding. Because I was like, my dad used to be a bodybuilder. His name is Chris Lawrence. He won the NGA title. I don't know what it was, but I don't really know him because he's never been around. But I was like, hey, I kind of want to follow in that footsteps a little bit. And I was always a big fan of Arnold, and always a big fan of Franco Columbu and Steve Reeves and Frank Zane. Huge fan of them. So then I said, okay, bodybuilding, let's try it out. Looked up a bunch of different ones. Then I came across Tri-City Classic on Facebook. I was like, okay, this looks legit. let me sign up for this. And I seen this months, like probably 20 weeks
it's been
out.
A while. Yeah.
20 weeks before
wow.
I even came to you. So I was preparing this entire time.
Wow.
And so then what was I gonna say? Man, I've really lost track.
Back up to something happened inside of the gym that sparked you.
Oh.
Tell me about that.
So is the part where people were making fun of me.
Wow.
Whenever I was at the gym, people would make. I went to Planet Fitness, and I used to actually work out there. That's when I started most of my weight. Loss, anyways. And when I got to the point where I was getting really lean, people ended up making fun of me because I was posing. And yeah, it's Planet Fitness, it's considered a lung thing, but I don't believe in a lung, right? I don't believe in that. You do what you love. That's what I believe. And the fact that I was being made fun of when everyone seen my journey there really struck a chord with me. I was like, okay, this isn't where I gotta be. So I lost all the weight, got made fun of. I ended up working there, got kicked out because I ended up quitting because I was getting made fun of too much. So now, that's kind of what sparked me to keep going. Like, wow. Just the hating, people hating on me, and just kind of fueled my motivation to try even harder. Sometimes that's what it takes. You got to take the negative part and turn it into a positive part. Because, if the way I look at things, actually, if people are talking about you, then you must be doing something right. Yeah. That is true.
You're doing some things that they probably can't do themselves. And you took that and you ran with it. From sitting on the couch getting tired to now you're in the gym working out and changing and you're being talked about. Right. You went from one extreme to the other. But now you're finna show them because you're going to be on the stage.
Oh, yeah.
Doing some things that they really might want to do but can't do. But throughout this whole thing, there's been one person that's been by your side.
My wife.
Yes.
My wife has been by my side this entire time. Mm-hmm. She's been a huge support. I actually wouldn't have been possible without her because currently I'm unemployed. I had a job and I thought I was going to be able to help out more, but emotionally, I'm still kind of like not there emotionally. So she's been there to support me financially to help me get to my dream. And because she sees in me potential, she sees that I have the potential to become something great. And the fact that if you have one person believing you, you need to hold on to that. Because that one person that believes in you is going to turn into many if you follow that dream.
Wow. And we all know that story. But we're going to talk to Victoria. And because I know that the journey has not been easy, that it's been shared. I tell people all the time, even in my business, even in 20 years of military, people used to tell me all the time as a soldier, and they still do, that thank you for your service. The first thing I tell them is no, thank my wife for her service, because she allowed me to be deployed and take care of soldiers and do all the things, and I didn't have to worry about did the kids get to school, did the bills get paid, is the lights on, and all is food ready and all that stuff. So tell me, I know you've taken this upon yourself to start to lose weight as well. So let's just talk to you about it. How has it really been?
It's been pretty rough over the past year because, I mean, not only with his weight loss, with mine too, definitely you got to have a good support system. Because if you don't, then, you're liable to fail. There was a time I cheated big on my diet. And I hid it from him for like a couple months because I had been on it for so long, and he went to work and I was like, okay, I'm going to go home and I'm going to eat snacks and everything because he won't know. But he pulled me back from that, so I didn't go back to where I used to be because it would have just spiraled.
I threw all the stuff away, all the snack cakes and stuff.
So, I mean, that's one thing. You got to have a good support system. That's what I tell everybody. But
tell them how hard it is financially. How hard it is for to help support me in this, because a lot of people they don't see how they probably see that people who do this probably have a lot of money so they can be able to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I did not realize how expensive of a sport it was until this. Yeah. But I mean, it's a struggle, but we're doing what we can because I know that this is what he wants to do, and I think he's going to be great at it. And I want him to, do more shows and keep following his dreams. So I'm going to do what I have to do to make that happen for him.
Wow. Now that's commitment. And again, too often, Victoria, is that, you see that all that. See, that's what I'm talking about. Too often, again, people, they only see one side of the story, one side, and usually that's the glamour side. They don't see the underlining nightmares, the tears, because I know you want the best for him, but I know some of the times you probably just went in the room and just cried for a minute.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let him see it probably, but that's what you do when you're supporting a person, and I'm sure he's done the same thing for you, because with this journey, I know sometimes he haven't been the easiest person to get along with.
Oh,
especially now.
Yes.
I can't wait till this is over where he can eat.
Yeah, because dieting, you don't really know until you get to where it's like really hard.
Yeah.
Your moods changes, and I've gotten really moody lately. So it's like, but once I get to eat, I feel so much better. But I'm dieting pretty hard right now.
How you doing?
Good.
Sorry to interrupt. FedEx?
Yes, thank you. Could you set it there? Because we're filming.
Oh,
See, even FedEx comes in while we're filming. But again, you're right, Ashley. I mean, Victoria, this is not a cheap sport. Competing, the eating alone costs a little more when you're eating properly. But the results are something. And the fact that you guys are doing this together, allows it kind of ease it a little bit, but still, I know there are some times that you probably wanted to just smack him a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
And say straighten up. But you hung in there, and now look at you on the 3rd of April. They're going to be on stage, and Ashley has gotten her tickets and all that stuff. She's going to be sitting right up front cheering them on. But again, I commend you on doing that. And again, people just don't understand that support system is so important. So I thank you for doing that. But like Ashley has said, he's tried several things. He's went from keto to fasting, and I want you guys to take away from that is that he did what he had to do to get him where he wanted to be. And along their way, you start certain things like certain diets and all of that stuff, and it works for a minute. But you gotta take the Ashley approach and know when to switch to do certain things, because all the little diets that are out there has their advantages. They really do. But at a certain point, you got to look at your lifestyle and how you want your lifestyle to continue to be, and let that be the driving force as to how you continue to eat and all of that stuff, to the point where it becomes a way of life. And right now, I when he talked to me, I told him to go eat a couple of things, and I'm gonna let him tell you what happened, and then we're gonna wrap it up from there.
Yep. So as you guys know, I'm competing, so I'm dieting down, and I have to reach a certain weight. My weight right now is 144, but a week ago it was 149 to 150. I was scared because I couldn't get that weight off for about a week. It was there, just sitting. I gained all that weight back in a week, and I was wondering what's going on. Everyone knows me as the melon guy, right? The guy who saw the melon. I came up to him and I asked him for advice, like, what do I do? I gained all this weight and I can't get it off. He's like, what are you eating? I eat about 6 pounds of melon a day. And he's like, whoa. And he's like, well, it's been working. It's been working this entire time. So, I mean, clearly something's right. And I was like, well, he's like, you should probably cut it out. I was like, what? And I was like, wait a minute. Why should I cut out something that's been working this entire time? And then he's like, your body is trying to hold on to what it's losing. And melon has a lot of natural sugars. So he told me to switch from the melon that I was eating, that was working for so long, to eating potatoes or eating asparagus or chicken, stuff that's more of a natural, like a diet kind of thing that you can still make taste good. I mean, you don't got to put a lot of butter and salt in it, but it still tastes good. And you eat all that, and then as soon as I switched, 2 days after, I went from 150, dropped all the way back down to 144. I was retaining a lot of water and not realizing it from his help.
And again, that's just experience, but most of all, he was willing to listen to what I had to say. And we're going to switch some things up here shortly again, because we're about 3.5 weeks out from the show. And so he has some more changes that he has to make. But the point is that he was willing to listen, and he followed instructions, and now look at him, he's happy. But we don't know how long that's going to be leading into the show, but he's going to be just fine. So Ashley, we thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Roland.
Victoria, thank you for coming out, and you guys continue to just support each other, and this thing is going to be all right. So again, on the 3rd of April, come on out to the Convention and Trade Center and watch Ashley do his thing. Look at him flexing a little bit so he can take home one of these trophies here. So again, it starts at 5 p.m. That's for the finals. For the prejudging, we'll start at 9 a.m. You can go online at tricity.com and get tickets if you want to, or you can just come by here, 2536 Weems Road, and you can pick up tickets here. But most of all, we look forward to seeing you being out there hooping and hollering for Ashley as he does his thing in the bodybuilding in the classic physique category. So it's been another episode of Table Talk with Roland. We'll see you soon.